Here today for a very special episode with Mr. Asgar Tair, also known as Coach Asgy.
Coach Asgy.
Thanks for being with SCTV today, Asgy. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I've got the microphone, I've got the SCTV microphone. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Pleasure for us.
A pleasure for me.
Got a few questions to roll through with you.
Fire away.
Okay, so what I first wanted to ask you about is how you first got into boxing, in terms of what inspired you to get into boxing and thus become a coach?
When we was young, there was the Mike Tyson era, the Marvin Hagler era, there's, the Fabulous Four. I was born around that kind of era, and everything was just fascinating. I used to love the way Marvin Hagler used to box. But at that time, boxing wasn't a big thing for us Asians, but I always wanted to box. So when the local boxing club opened with Clifton Mitchell, we all joined him, because at that time Clifton Mitchell was fighting for the British title. And it was brilliant because we got to train with him, and he was bringing all the celebrities in. He brought big time boxing to Derby, and it was just great. So the buzz started from there.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's quite cool. Growing up in that era of boxing, I mean, that was a golden era of boxing, wasn't it?
Phenomenal, because I loved it. I was just fascinated by the whole thing. Like, a lot of people were like, yeah, the Mike Tysons and all that, but for me, Marvin Hagler. And in them days, I don't know if maybe people remember Danny Romero and Julio Sanchez and all them guys. Because Clifton was a big Sanchez fan, and I was like, I used to always read about it. If you told me about a boxer, I would research and I would look into it, and I want to know everything about the boxer.
Yeah, that passion was always there.
Yeah.
What was the experience for you like, being in the boxing gym for the first time? How did that feel? So you watched boxing, you did your research, you're passionate about it. How did it feel like when you were in the gym?
Just the challenge, the ultimate challenge, because you'd get a geeky guy that thought you think I'd smash his face and kind of thing, and when you're in the ring, you realise this guy's a bloody beast. He beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? I always remember a story when we was in the gym in the amateur club. A geeky guy came with a rucksack, and he came in the gym, and he was wearing glasses at the time, funny enough. And he goes, he wants to spar us. I'm thinking, look here, you skinny, whatever. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. My mate goes, whoa, I've seen him somewhere before. I go, who the heck's this guy? Look at him. We'll batter him. So I've gone in first, right? And I'm jabbing him, I'm throwing shots. And every shot's hitting his head. I'm thinking, I've done really well. Next day he's coming towards me, bell's gone, boom. Nope. I go, this guy's crap. My mate's gone in, that was it. His name was Elvis Doobie. Elvis has got battered from pillar to post. Dwayne's gone in, Nathan Ward's gone in. Everyone's gone in, this guy's battered, every last one of us. Turns out this guy was Carl Froch.
Oh, wow.
So looks were deceiving, so that's what really, really fascinated me, because you thought, he was a tough guy, but them guys that train, and you realise just how tough boxing was.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so you were training there, you were doing boxing yourself a bit. What did you box to any specific level at all?
For us, it was only amateur. There was never such a thing for, especially being a Pakistani Asian. There was nothing for us. And then the Prince Naseem era hit. But our time had gone. Yeah. But then, it just went crazy, the whole Prince Naseem thing. And it was just, everyone wanted to be Prince Naseem.
Yeah, of course.
It was brilliant.
So how did you then get into coaching, Asgy, after that?
I remember it like it was yesterday, funny enough. So I always wanted to know how to box. Then I had a guy who sent his son to me. His name was Lightfoot, Said Maqsood. So I started coaching him. Never understood how the amateur thing worked. Sent him to a club, got him registered. But I was training him. He went on to win the nationals.
Oh, wow.
And this was me, just a normal guy, just training him. I thought, wow. So then I trained the next boxer, who then went to win another nationals. I thought, this is pretty good. And then people said, oh, you're a good coach. And I was like, well, I don't think I am, but if it's working, it's working. Because I was around a good era where there was great guys around me. And we loved training, we loved coaching, we loved the whole thing, because we understood the buzz of it. Because we came from the Taekwondo background. Okay. Yeah, because me, Ali, Afzal, we used to do Taekwondo with a guy called Tony Sewell, 3 times world champion. Okay. Phenomenal, a legend in Derby. And the buzz of us winning the British titles and the European titles and all that, it was just a great buzz. So, but it wasn't challenging. Yeah. Because everyone talked about boxing. So then, obviously, our time in boxing went, so we thought, you know what, let's help the young and up-and-coming boxers. Yeah. And that's how it went, from winning 1 title to now 9 national champions.
Wow.
So
when you first started, who were your role models and mentors when you first started with the boxing coaching?
Tony Sewell, he was from Taekwondo. I just loved his mentality. I loved his modesty.
Yeah.
There was a guy called Jazz Ratu who used to grab us all off the street, and he used to train us at Cromwell Road. He used to be the Gurdwara on the Cromwell Road in Derby.
Okay.
And Jazz was like an elder. He was like friends of our fathers, and we had super talented guys. You know, Cam, who passed away, Jagar, Balisinaro. These guys were our up and coming, you know, Navid Akrams, and so we was amongst people who were just great guys. So Jazz was so humble, so nice, but we knew if you crossed the line, he was like serious, and we loved that kind of that persona, that attitude. So then the kind of people that I liked, they were my role models, kind of thing.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, sorry, carry on.
So and it also goes down to like learning to be humble. I mean,
Yeah.
so they say the most dangerous man in the room is always the quietest man in the room. And I like that kind of attitude. There was a guy called Binder. He was a local lad, local hero. He used to train us. He was great. Clifton Mitchell himself. So we had certain people from certain communities that were influential to us.
Yeah.
But we never really had a Pakistani kind of coach.
Yep.
We used to have Mushtaq, who was like a karate instructor, very good. But we never had like a boxing instructor. And that's something that maybe triggered off for me and wanted to be that.
Yeah.
Because I realised if it worked for me, then it must work for others.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. So combining a genuine passion for boxing with a humble beginning as a coach as well, but then going on to coach some world-class fighters with the likes of Tyson Fury, Billy Joe Saunders. What are some of the other memorable kind of world-class fighters you've coached and worked with over the years?
Tyson Fury, Eddie Chambers, Ricky Hatton, Billy Joe Saunders, Josh Taylor, Hamza Shiraz, Shabazz Masood, Isaac Lowe, Martin Sweeney, Michael Sweeney, Sean Turner, Huey Fury, worked with him, Dave Allen,
Oh, wow.
the White Rhino. Yeah. Who else was there? There's been loads. I've coached alongside some top coaches. Abel Sanchez, Freddie Roach, Ben Davidson, Peter Fury, Clifton Mitchell, Mervyn Turner. I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate to learn from these people who've given their time to give me time.
Of course.
I appreciate it and I really respect it. And I'm always dedicated to them because without them, would I be where I am today?
Yeah, no, of course. So you mentioned a lot of names there, but has there been anyone out of those fighters you've worked with whose journey has really inspired you in terms of
Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah. I think he's just incredible. Tyson Fury, his was very interesting because I remember Tyson during the amateur days. I knew the struggle with his father getting locked up, with his uncle taking over, then his other uncle taking over. From we used to sit in a room where we used to dream of, can you imagine winning a title? Can you imagine becoming a millionaire? And Tyson used to always have that in his dream. And from talking about it to actually achieving it, to going to Dusseldorf and winning the world title.
Yeah.
You're side by side with people like Lennox Lewis and David Hasselhoff, Rod Stewart. You're the stars there, and it's just unreal.
Asgy himself as well.
Oh no, no. I'm just me. I've just been very fortunate. I've been in a very fortunate position. Like you watch the Rocky films, and then you see Rocky lifting the belt. That was that moment in Dusseldorf, and I'm thinking, how was a guy from Derby being able to go from a Normanton lad to the centre of boxing, to be viewed millions across the world? I mean, it was just crazy.
Definitely. And on the flip side of that, so that's the kind of boxers whose journeys have inspired you. Have there been any boxers whose either their performance in the ring or the way they've trained that really shocked you? And you thought, oh, wow, I maybe didn't realise he was so good, or, there's something different about them. Anyone that kind of surprised you in any way?
I don't know. There's something about these boxers that I see. For example, Billy Joe Saunders. I can't praise this brother enough. One of the nicest guys, to be fair, in boxing. Always treated me right. Does a lot for charities, does a lot for people, but he doesn't want that to be known. He does it because he wants to do that. And the way when I look at his mindset, you see Billy Joe Saunders on the microphone, and you think, he don't take it serious. Believe me, he does. When it's time to train, excuse me, he trains. Tyson Fury had that. You do 10 press, for argument's sake, he'll do 11. You run up a step 10 times, he'll do it 11 times.
Oh.
He always had that one, I've got to beat you.
Yeah.
I played him at Connect 4 one time and I beat him. He wouldn't stop until he beat me twice. And this is the kind of mindset you see.
Yeah.
People like Eddie Chambers, who fought Klitschko for the world title, he was just incredible. These kind of guys, just phenomenal talent, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Josh Taylor on a different planet. So you already know the mindset.
Yeah.
You know it a mile away.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, you know, you, the way you speak about these fighters, obviously, it shows you have a close relationship with them as well. So if I was to ask you a story about a fighter who achieved a major milestone in their career, it might have been in the ring, outside the ring, where it was really emotional for you as well, being in their team. Can you think of a story for that, for any fighter?
Tyson
Okay.
Fury's
Yep.
story, I think his always stands out.
Yep.
He used to always dream that he wanted to become world champion.
Yep.
He may not have believed it, but
Yeah.
he wanted it. But then it came to a stage where he actually believed it. Now, I've heard all this hype about Tyson, and until I've seen it myself, the way this guy, 19 stones, moving around the ring like he's a lightweight, the way he was dedicating his life, he did not care.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful that his brothers took on jobs just to fund his brother, just because they believed in Tyson.
Yeah.
And Tyson and Shane used to box together. Tyson met Paris, and they became a bit divided. Always close, extremely close.
Yeah.
But his brothers sacrificed their lives
Yeah.
just to make sure Tyson got to where he got to.
Wow.
Tyson's close friends, Dave Skirton. You see what he did. He sacrificed a lot for his friends. You know what I mean? So that inspired me. Billy Joe Saunders inspired me because you see what's going on, especially with the traveling community, their traditions. They hit a certain age, 15, 16, they're given a truck, they're given whatever the trade is, they get on with it. They meet a girl, they move on. So for especially a traveller boy,
Yeah.
breaking away his traditions to focus fully on his training. And you understand, he really trained an Olympian, 2 times world champion, won every belt from area titles up to the Commonwealth, the English, the British, the European, the international, to world. And to achieve that, it's inspiring. And you've got to really believe in your dreams, and you've got to want it. No matter what the obstacle is, you've got to want it. It's like Tyson. He wanted it. Look at the fights he had from the beginning. The struggles with McDermott. Is he really world champion material?
Yeah.
But then he beat Chisora. Then he went on to beat Christian Hammond. He went to beat Klitschko. Then he went to on to Wilder.
Yep.
And look at him, certified an all-time great in my eyes.
Definitely. Sticking with Tyson Fury, obviously you've touched upon the fight there with Wladimir Klitschko. I mean, in my opinion, I'm sure many others share that opinion as well. It's probably one of the, if not the best performance by a British boxer on foreign soil against Wladimir Klitschko. But just want to take you back before November 2015 when that fight happened. So when the fight was announced, obviously you mentioned there about Tyson having that belief, his brothers, funding his boxing career. The belief it was evident that the belief was there with his family. However, the boxing world didn't share that belief. Wladimir Klitschko was seen as this indestructible figure. At the time, when going into the fight with Tyson, he was 11 years almost undefeated. Nobody really could get close to him. Everyone says it was a boring era, but I think Klitschko was so great that he didn't let anybody come close to him until Tyson Fury got in the ring with him. But before the fight happened, we saw the kind of antics at the press conference, and the second press conference. We saw the antics and the build to the fight. Tyson always tells a story about him visiting the Kronk gym in Detroit and training with Wladimir, and kind of he says that the mind games almost started from there. So when the fight was announced and up until Tyson Fury got in the ring, with you being involved with Team Fury at that time, how was the feeling like in Team Fury? Were you guys really confident?
I tell you, this is what people need to remember, yeah? There was only one man and one man only, Peter Fury. He installed that mindset, that belief. He adjusted the style to his style, that safety first, that use your weight, be in the best condition. Peter Fury changed the whole dynamics of boxing. Let's get it straight. He's the one who got us that win in Dusseldorf. He made Tyson really believe, remember the sparring. Tyson was always, had the want. But did he really have the heart? Did he really understand it? And Peter Fury got him that, got him the best of sparring, took him all over the world, really got him to really believe in himself. Now, a lot of people don't know this about Tyson. Tyson's one of the most shyest people there is in the game. Now, Tyson had to go on a lot of, stand-up comedian shows. He did all that and build up his confidence. When you meet Tyson for the first time, if you don't know Tyson, Tyson goes to a corner, he's really quiet, he's really cautious, he's really, but then he built up his confidence. He still is a shy guy, to be fair.
Okay.
But it was Peter Fury that installed it into him, made him believe that he could become a world champion. There was a strong possibility. We was watching all the training, all the sparring, all the preparations. See, the thing with Peter Fury is 99% is never good enough. And everything that Tyson had to do was 100%. Peter would take him away from the distractions. South of France would be one day, Belgium the next.
Wow.
No, Peter Fury was just on a different level of the whole thing.
Yeah.
He created the Tyson Fury that beat Wladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
So you got to give him the credit, and that was the turning point, because we believed in Peter.
Yeah.
Everything Peter says that was going to happen, happened. The whole build-up. Oh, Asgy, watch, he's going to do this in this fight. Oh, we're going to bring this guy from America. Watch what Tyson does to him. And Tyson was really doing everything. It was like, wow. So going into Germany, we knew he would win. Wow. Whether he was going to get the decision or not, that was a different thing. Because, the decisions were a bit funny.
Yeah, of course.
Abroad, but God's great, and he won.
Yeah. I mean, we'll come on to fight night in a minute as well, in the actual fight. But you mentioned the meticulousness of Peter Fury building up to that fight, and how he installed the belief within the whole team. But in terms of the preparation for that fight, is there anything that happened that maybe other people might not know of, in terms of maybe specific sparring partners that Tyson had at that time, or certain methods he was doing in training in preparation for that Klitschko fight? Was there anything that maybe a lot of people may not know about the preparations for that Klitschko fight from Team Fury?
It was the whole thing, from your nutrition to your strength and conditioning to your sleeping pattern to your mindset, positive energy around you. Everything had to be perfect. There was no how do I say it? And again, go back to 99%. There was never 99%, it had to be 100%. Now, as long as Tyson was doing exactly what Peter says, the sparring, see, Tyson's a bit of a freak of nature. Which super heavyweight moves the way he does?
Yeah, it's never been seen before.
So he had that attribute. Now, if he mastered his jab, which he did under Peter Fury, he mastered that jab. He could hit and move.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people didn't realise is Tyson could actually bang. He had a lot of power, but he never had to rely on that, because he could just outbox you and move all day long. And it was like the new era. You remember before, when you had your Mike Tyson, Frank Brunos, then the super giants came, the Riddick Bowe's, the Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
Then the even bigger guys have come now, which 6'6" is not classed as big no more in boxing.
Yeah.
So it was just that change, and thankfully I was part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously, as I mentioned, leading up into the fight, I've touched upon the press conference before. Were the team aware of what Tyson was going to do in that press conference, where he dressed up as, he came as the Batman and
Oh, was that in the rematch?
Yeah. No, it was for the first
rematch,
fight.
Klitschko.
The first fight when he came as the Batman. That was in
the Batman was the second one.
The second press conference for the first fight.
Yeah.
Were the team aware of how?
No. Tyson already beat Klitschko.
Was it? Oh.
No, we never. You're right. It was
the UK. So it's the second press conference for the first fight.
Yeah. So well, we all knew he was going to pull up in the Lambo. We knew he was going to come as Batman, and Hugh was going to be Robin.
Yeah.
No, the Joker.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Ain't that what it's all about?
Yeah, definitely.
And he knew how to attract the media. And remember, at that time, Tyson was getting a lot of stick from the media.
Yeah. I was going to touch on that as well. Obviously, the heavyweight division, like I said, at that time it was the Floyd Mayweather era. The eyes of boxing, both for the boxing purists and the casual market, was all on the welterweight division. So maybe Wladimir Klitschko wasn't getting the attention he had. People saw the heavyweight division as boring. But Britain itself, the UK, was probably crying out for a new hero at that time as well. So from my point of view, as a boxing fan, a young boxing fan at that time, seeing what Tyson Fury was doing, I was in awe. I was thinking, wow, this is the flag bearer now for British boxing. But like you said, he was getting a lot of criticism for the way he was moving, the way he was behaving, the way he was acting. Did that affect him? Did he feel a bit let down by the British public at that time? Was there anything he said? Or
I think he felt let down when he won the title. I thought, I'll come back to the UK, and I thought I'll be a superstar. I'll be on the honorary list and all that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it never happened.
No.
And it was sad, because Tyson sacrificed his whole life for that moment to achieve that goal, to reap the rewards, but he didn't get none of that.
Yeah.
It was pretty sad, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it is. Boxing loves the villain.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That's these villain characters for sure. And so moving on into the fight itself. Obviously, you mentioned Peter Fury instilling that belief. There seemed to be a really close-knit team with Team Fury, and not as well as Peter Fury. Leading up to the fight, obviously at that time, Tyson was promoted by Mick Hennessy as well.
Yeah.
His father was in Germany for the fight as well. And obviously, in boxing, we always hear about, we have the A side and we have the B side. Obviously, Wladimir Klitschko was the champion, Tyson Fury was the challenger. The fight was in Dusseldorf, where Klitschko fought out of. Tyson Fury was coming into foreign soil. There was a lot of controversy in terms of the build-up to the fight on fight night, in terms of the ring. You know, there was Team Fury weren't happy, let's just say. I mean, you want to elaborate on that in terms of what Team Fury were unhappy about?
In boxing, you try to get every advantage possible.
Yep.
So Klitschko's knew Tyson had great feet. Obviously, they have spies in camps, and sparring partners will come over and they'll see, whoa, Tyson was a great mover. So the only way you're going to slow a mover down is having heavy mats, heavy flooring. So obviously Tyson will tire out and you'll be a sitting duck to take a punch. So Tyson clicked on, Peter clicked on, so we had it all changed.
Yeah.
Even to the point of the hand wraps. You know, we had to make them redo the hand wraps with 15 minutes to go before the fight.
Wow.
You know, certain little tricks that everybody plays.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience to play. It was just every trick in the game. But you've got to have the right people in your team to expose them tricks.
Yeah, well, we saw literally Mick Hennessy standing up and being toe-to-toe with Vitaly Klitschko, saying, you know, we're not taking any of this stuff. We saw John Fury and yourself threatening the team to walk out and call the fight off on fight night.
See, it was funny because I told Wladimir Klitschko, right, take it off. He goes, no. I said, mate, take it off or the fight's off. No, you realise that I don't really have the authority to say that.
Yeah.
So is it Bonte? What was his manager's name?
Manager, yeah.
Monte or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's come over. You're not going to pull out the fight. Go away. Like, John Fury's walked in. What's going on? I said, John, they're cheating. Because you're cheating. You know what John's like.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're cheating, if you don't change the wraps, the fight's off. I don't care. I thought, hold on. We don't care what you say, John. Pete's in charge. Let's speak to Pete. Pete goes, if you're cheating, the fight's off. John goes, they're cheating. He goes, well, the fight's off. So it was pretty cool. Now, we've called their bluff.
Yeah.
Who else would turn away from that, you know, millions of pounds?
Yeah.
The fight's on. Would you really walk away from it? They were serious. You can't bribe them. So they had to take the wraps off. With 15 minutes to go,
Yeah.
they were rushing, panicking. Bam, we've got an edge over here.
Yeah.
We've got the ring edge over here. We've got the hand wrap edge over here. So we knew their mind wasn't really there. We thought, mentally, we've got them. So it's all mind games before the fight.
Yeah. I mean, while all this is happening, you were right in it. Like I said, you were right behind John Fury. How was Tyson? Was he aware of all this that was happening, or was he kind of away
Not
from
at the time. We kept him away from all that.
Yeah.
See, with Tyson and Peter, they trust their team. Everyone in the team's got a purpose.
Yeah.
They don't need to question, is the job going to get done? You know it's going to get done because you spent so many years together. Everything's all based on trust. We've had so many fights together. And they knew that if there was any bit of cheating, I would point it out.
Yeah.
I'd pick on it. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and then the fight itself starts, and you know, round by round, we're thinking, okay, you know, Tyson's in control.
Well, if you look at the fight now, now I don't usually talk when Peter's obviously giving instructions.
Yep.
But at one stage, Klitschko's like tried to turn, and he's done that, turned his hands, tried to cover his face, and a normal fight would just stop. I've shouted, Tyson, hit him. Tyson's going to go whack, and that was a game changer. Watch the fight; it's pretty interesting. That. It felt pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, literally, that probably was one of the turning points in the fight in terms of the aggression that Fury showed at times throughout the fight. But
I never understood the magnitude of it. I know it sounds weird, and a lot of people don't understand this. Now, I'm in the centre of the ring. It's all going off, cameras, everyone's celebrating. My phone rings, it's my wife. What are you doing? I said, oh, we just had a fight. Yeah, well, I boxed punch. She goes, I know. I'm watching it. And I'm answering the phone, like, to my wife, and she's like, oh, you're answering the phone. You're live. Oh, put it down. I'm like, okay. It's crazy because you don't realise how big it was. Because obviously we're being ushered back to the rooms, back to the hotels.
yeah,
And it was just weird because For me, it was just massive. I got back. I got a lot of attention from the media.
Yeah.
Derby was great. It was people were just so happy that a local lad was involved.
Yeah.
But for Tyson, it wasn't. It was so sad. It was really sad.
Yeah, yeah. Just going back to fight night for a minute as well. Just obviously, nobody had ever prior to this fight happening had legitimately outpointed Wladimir Klitschko over 12 rounds before in history. Tyson was the first and only man to do that actually till this day. Till Wladimir Klitschko hung up the boots, hung up the gloves. Sorry, but as you mentioned, you guys were confident in your game plan. Us viewers watching the fight, it was an easy fight to call. Tyson, the scorecards were there, but obviously Tyson got docked a point as well. I think it was in round 11, I believe, which is controversial in its own right. But up until the announcement was made, because it was a unanimous decision when Michael Buffer read out, were you guys still thinking with one here, or were you thinking,
well,
we've
it's
been
funny
robbed?
you say that because I'm looking at Tyson's face. I knew he'd done enough.
Yeah,
But Tyson's saying, "Please, God, please, don't deny me this, please, please." And he's praying, and
yeah,
I'm looking at the whole of Klitschko's team.
yeah.
They're just like, they know they've lost.
Mm.
I've seen Shane, I've seen John, seen Peter, and everyone's nervous, and then you just waiting, and then you from the UK,
From the United Kingdom, yeah.
that was crazy, and it was
Yeah.
just, the whole Rocky moment comes back, and you're like, crazy, it's weird.
Yeah.
My phone rings, my wife, I'm like, it's crazy.
I mean, prior to that fight happening, I think, in my opinion, the best performance from a British boxer on foreign soil was when Lloyd Honeyghan beat Don Curry. But when Tyson Fury went in there and dethroned Wladimir Klitschko, for me, that was top. I mean, in your opinion, is that the best performance by a British boxer on overseas soil?
For me, yeah, to be fair, I liked the Wilder and Fury one, that was good.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute as well.
Yeah, Carl Froch's done quite well.
Yeah, yeah.
Ricky Hatton, he's done really well. But
On foreign soil, this is.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Who else has it been?
I think it's going to be hard to top that Tyson win against Klitschko in terms of how he was a massive underdog, not only from the boxing.
Oh, we
purists,
was completely written off.
Yeah,
When I say written off, everyone laughed at me.
yeah,
And you see on my Facebook, my social media, they wrote me off. And then when we won, I must have put a load of posts and shown all the pictures, and it was great. It was great. Yeah. Priceless moments, and I still pinch myself. Was I really part of that?
yeah,
I know it sounds crazy. It's like when I share posts and I'm like, oh my God, I've worked with that guy.
yeah.
I've worked with this guy. And I'm like, sometimes I feel ashamed. Like, I don't want to post it. I'm thinking, am I showing off of some sort?
No,
And it's like,
proud of your achievements.
that's why I don't put, if you look around this gym, I don't put any pictures up because I think it's showing off kind of thing. You know what I mean? But he's like, oh, you got to put pictures up. I says, look, I want the boxes to be up there. I don't really want anything to do with me. You know what I mean?
Very humble, very humble.
No, I just felt bad. You know what I mean?
Well, you mentioned after the fight, obviously, when you came back to Derby, you were treated almost like a superstar. You said you got a lot of attention, but obviously...
Don't know about the superstar bit. I probably got a free kebab from Cavendish Kebabs.
Well, we'll all take that, wouldn't we? But you mentioned, obviously, Tyson maybe didn't get the attention that a lot of us would have expected that he would have got, but he didn't get. Did you speak to Tyson after that fight in terms of how he was feeling, the reception he may not have got?
See, I spoke to Tyson quite regular. He would open up with us, and it was sad because, you do this for the money, you do this for the fame, you do this for the glory.
Yeah.
And, you're the heavyweight champion of the world. You're the king of the castle, and when you come home, you're not king of anything.
Yeah.
And people are like slating you. The media are always bringing up guys and bringing them down, and sometimes Tyson ain't helped himself.
Yeah.
Certain comments that you say that you'll later regret, but that was social media, clickbait and all that.
Yeah, I mean, things are said with a comedic effect, right? It's just...
Exactly. If you really get to know Tyson, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, to be fair. Again, with Billy Joe Saunders, without a doubt, one of the best guys I've ever come across. Josh Taylor, Ben Davidson. Can't speak highly enough. He's my little brother. I've got a lot of time for Ben Davidson, a lot of time. And to work with people like Peter Fury, who, he's just incredible.
Yeah.
Changed the whole dynamics of boxing. We wouldn't have this Saudi thing going on right now. We wouldn't have all this going on, the Vegas thing, without Peter Fury.
Yeah.
And a lot of praise needs to go toward Peter.
Yeah.
Because he changed the whole dynamics.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see a lot of young British heavyweights at the moment. I've got a T-shirt here of Johnny Fisher. We've got David Delier, Solomon Darkris. All these guys, if you hear them speak, when you ask them the question, who inspired you, they all say Tyson Fury. So that night in Dusseldorf, Tyson deserved a lot of attention, a right attention after that. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Then obviously Tyson suffered some personal demons where he went away from boxing for a few years. But it was great to see Tyson Fury then come back into boxing. He re-signed then with Frank Warren. Can you talk a little bit about the comeback and how Tyson, came back from the struggle he had in his personal life and then came back into boxing? How was that? I'm guessing you were still a part of Team Fury at that point.
No, at that time, obviously Peter and Tyson separated, went their own ways. We was just like doing nothing, and Tyson was still in touch with him, but he'd ballooned up, a lot of stress, a lot of whatever. So we'd all chat and we'll say, you know what, let's have a club, let's not train, let's you can lose some weight for the day or weight. And we always had banter. Then an opportunity came where Deontay Wilder needed a spot. He needed someone to fight because a lot of money was put on the table. His daughter had this illness where if she didn't get the money, she would die, and it was real sad. They tried to get Anthony Joshua, but obviously Anthony Joshua got his own other commitments, so the fight didn't materialise. So Wilder's team had been in touch with Tyson. Says, would you be interested? Obviously Tyson's thinking about Deontay's daughter. Agreed on it. But we always knew Tyson Fury was special. Even the time when he wasn't like physically active, he was still fit in the ring. We could do rounds after rounds, and he was really, really good. And so when that opportunity come, right, let's take one day at a time. And it was Billy Joe Saunders that played a big part in this, who helped his pal get back on his feet, introduced him to Ben Davison, and he really wanted to get back into boxing. So he spoke to a lot of promoters, and they weren't really interested because, you're looking at a guy who was like 30 stones kind of. Do you really want that kind of guy? Not really. Yeah, you're worth a bit of money, but I'm not going to give you what you want. And then he signed with Frank Warren. I played a little part. A lot of people don't know about this, but it will come out one day. He signed with Frank Warren. At that time, they'd just done a deal with BT Sports. So the backing was there, and there you go. He went to spar Deontay Wilder. Well, we had the fight in Ireland first.
Yep.
Had another fight again in Manchester. No, Manchester, then Ireland.
Stephen Fury in Francesco Pinetti.
And then straight to LA.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was too soon. It was suicidal.
Well, exactly that. I mean, you mentioned he had two, should we say, comeback fights and then thrown straight into Deontay Wilder. So him coming back into boxing, you mentioned he ballooned up in weight. He had to lose all that weight. So even after those two comeback fights, he was still, quite heavy. So going into that fight with Deontay Wilder, how was the training camp for that? Was it more of a weight loss camp than a boxing camp? How was that?
This was, see, people need to give Ben Davis a lot of credit. See, people call, what was it, the boxer size kind of thing.
Boxer size Ben,
yeah, and all that. But people don't realise Tyson's mindset wasn't there. Ben Davison watched over Tyson day in, day out. Stayed with him, did everything for him, got him on that mindset. And Ben spoke up, made him do certain things like, come on, we are doing this. And Ben Davison got him that self-belief. I remember Ben Davison called me over to the gym and says, look at Tyson, the way he's moving again. And he was about 25 stones, and he was moving so good. He was beating up all the sparring partners. I was like, wow, it was like, you know what? I actually fancy our chances here. You know what I mean? And certain people that sparred Deontay Wilder had come to spar Tyson. Tyson had really done a number. And they were saying, look, you're going to beat Deontay Wilder. But remember what Deontay Wilder said? You can be good. What did he say? You have to be good for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
I only need to be good for 1 second.
Yeah.
So we always had it in our mind. And look at the fight. Everything was good. Then bam, Tyson's down.
Yeah.
And if you have a look at the video again, who's the one person that was like, Ben was so passionate. He was so, that was his friend. Forget your trainer. That was his friend.
Yeah.
Concern. And then we're all looking and we're all seeing what's going on. The security trying to bother Ben.
Yeah.
Everything's all in the air. We're telling Tyson to get back up. And he just got up like a zombie, and
yeah.
it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's hard to, you'll never understand it unless you was there.
Yeah, I can
It
imagine.
was just, what the heck has just happened?
Yeah.
And we thought, he's won the fight. Even though he got dropped, he actually won the round. Does that make sense? He was taking it to him.
Yeah, the recovery was amazing. I mean, so prior to the fight itself, so we touched upon the kind of training camp and style for the Wladimir Klitschko fight. It was like a tight-knit team, obviously changing coach this time. Tyson's dad wasn't there in America as well for the camp. So what were the similarities and differences like between the preparations in camp for the Klitschko fight and the preparations in camp for the first Wilder fight?
See, with Ben Davison is a very good coach because he likes to learn. He applies and adapts from other things that have been very productive for Tyson.
Yep.
He would ask us, what was he like doing this? What was he like doing that? And for him, it was just about getting Tyson that self-belief.
Yep.
As you see what he's done with Anthony Joshua, he got him that self-belief.
Yep.
And again, Ben's very strict with his training. The team had to be on point. Everyone had to have a purpose, had to be a game plan. And it was just perfect. The whole training thing was perfect. It was just a shame that Ben Davis was denied the victory.
Yeah, yeah.
What he did for Tyson Fury was just incredible.
Yeah.
And I've seen firsthand what Ben Davison does. I remember the first time I met Ben, Tyson's called me up to Wolverhampton. Ben's there. He goes, what do you think? And I'm looking at Tyson. Remember, this is Tyson that I seen 2 months ago who was a mess. To a guy he had that buzz again, he had that fire again.
Yeah.
And I says, this guy's perfect. Whatever he's doing, this guy's perfect. So I got on with Ben straight away. I was a massive admirer of him. I think he was just perfect.
Yeah.
Lovely lad, very, very kind, but very, very sharp, very, very good coach. So.
It seems that way. I mean, Ben Davison, as you said, he's gone on to achieve great things after Tyson Fury as well. So it shows his skill set as a world-class boxing coach. Just going back into the comparisons again as well, you mentioned how for the Klitschko fight, you guys were all very confident that Tyson was going to get the win, no matter what the public was saying, no matter what people in the boxing industry were saying. For the Wilder fight, was the confidence? I'm not talking about Tyson's self-belief. His self-belief would have been there, but in terms of you guys in the camp, did you have that same confidence of winning the fight as you did for the Klitschko fight for Wilder?
Good question, that, because no, yes, we did.
Okay.
I tell you why.
Yep.
Because we knew the dirty tricks they tried to pull. So if when you're pulling dirty tricks, you must be insecure. Your mind's not 100%. The ring, we had to get the ring changed.
Oh, for the Wilder fight?
Yeah, the
wow.
cannabis in the room, the fumes for the air conditioning. We had to change rooms, and the gloves, the whole, every trick they tried, from security kicking over our drinks and stepping on our toes and trying to bombard the changing rooms, and these are the kind of things we knew. We looked at Wilder. We knew that as long as Tyson could stay away from the backhand, and we knew he could because he was moving great.
Yeah.
Old saying, what the eyes can't see, hands can't hit.
Yeah.
And Tyson was moving great. So our self-belief was there. A lot of people says, no, you're crazy. But Ben Davison says, no, he will beat him.
Wow.
Ben Davison generally believed it. So look what happened. He beat him.
Yeah. Again, a massive underdog going into the fight. Maybe not down to the quality gap between Fury and Wilder. I think it was more so because Tyson Fury coming off that long.
It wasn't just that,
period.
because Ben was going to always get a lot of stick.
Yeah.
You're talking from what Peter Fury achieved, which was perfect,
Yeah.
to then a new face, like, is he good enough? Oh, he's young, he's this, is that. Is he really going to do well? Oh, he's crazy, because his performance against, is it Pianeta?
Yeah, Francisco Pianeta and Stephen
Wasn't
Fury.
the best of performances, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, and his performances, was it in Manchester and Ireland?
Ireland and Manchester.
It wasn't the best of performances.
Yeah.
So going to face Wilder straight after,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa.
A lot of people, I mean, famous people like Tony Bellew said Wilder will win it in 3 rounds. The likes of Eddie Hearn said, well, he was written off again,
totally understand why they said that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was written off again, and then
exactly.
Yeah.
Give Tyson a challenge, he'll come out.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
so we knew Tyson needed that challenge.
Yeah. And obviously then the fight itself, you mentioned when the bell rung in Dusseldorf for the Klitschko fight, it was a unanimous decision. You saw Klitschko's team. You said you felt as though they knew they would beat. We all saw it was a convincing win. For the Wilder fight,
we knew Wilder's team would beat. Those heads were all down.
Yeah,
they were celebrating a draw.
I was going to come on to that as well, because you see the difference. So when it was announced it was a split decision draw, you see when the refs got the hands of both Wilder and Fury in the air, Wilder's kind of acknowledging it, smiling, nodding his head, and Fury's shaking his head in disbelief.
To be honest with you, it was an emotional emotional moment, I tell you, because inside you're like, from getting knocked down to getting up, and you know the draw would have been more than enough.
Yeah.
But we knew he did enough.
Yeah.
But we were just like shocked. The whole thing, you know, really like shook us up.
Yeah.
That we was part of this moment.
Yeah.
So from there, in America, it wasn't a big thing. But when we came out to the UK, Tyson had just catapulted from being the guy that they all hated, because we was expecting that.
Yeah.
Come back home, they're going to give us shit again. But he was a megastar.
Yeah.
It was great, and then just went crazy. Just went from there to there to there to there to there. It was just mad.
Yeah.
And the whole Tyson Fury thing happened.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like I mentioned before, just prior to Tyson Fury hitting the heights that he hit, we didn't really have. It wasn't common for British fighters to perform the way they performed that Tyson did on foreign soil.
At that time, they were trying to promote Deontay Wilder as the next superstar of America, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there was a lot of stars in the crowd.
Yep.
And they got to see Tyson Fury.
Yep.
Like, whoa, that guy can box. That guy's the man.
Yeah.
So the Americans turned against Wilder. Oh, you got beat. You got your ass beat. You ain't the real champion.
Yeah.
So when the rematch happened,
Yeah.
you know, Tyson was just on fire.
Yeah.
Megastar.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, were there any? So for the first Wilder fight, were there any kind of American boxers that you spoke to after the fight?
Yeah, it was funny because I was in the corner and
Yeah.
I hit this guy's tagging on to my trials. I'm like, who the heck is that? And I've looked down. It's Floyd Mayweather.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God. I hope someone's recording this. It's, hey man, your man got robbed, man. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, look around, someone please record this. And I don't know if someone did. And he goes, your man got robbed. I'm like, Huey, that's Floyd Mayweather. It was crazy. It was great. It was great to see him. So we got to meet Floyd, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. So many stars that we met, we didn't even realize. It's only when you're there and you realize, where do I know that guy from?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's that person. It's like
Yeah.
legends after legends after legends. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely great to see. And this might be a bit of a tricky question, and maybe even an unfair question. But if I was to ask you what the bigger achievement was for Team Fury, dethroning Wladimir Klitschko, or it was a draw, but many people see it as a win against Deontay Wilder in that first fight.
I'll have to say, not Wilder, Klitschko.
Sure.
This was the birth of Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peter Fury, again, I can't stress it enough, an incredible man, a great man, an honourable man, developed this Tyson Fury. And Peter Fury, how do you say, orchestrated the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson Fury executed the plan.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, just a great combination.
Yeah.
And that was a turning point.
Yeah, definitely.